Hello, thank you for taking the time to watch our presentation for DataFest 2023. Our team, the database, consists of Lauren Beatty, Alyssa Chin, John Flanagan, and Benjamin Hartman from the University of Notre Dame. We will be presenting our solution to help the American Bar Association in recruiting attorneys and state partners on their pro bono online platform, addressing issues faced from 2016 to 2022. For our analysis, we aim to explore success on a particular platform. However, we face the challenge of defining success based on the provided dataset. To address this issue, we employed a combination of sentiment analysis and analysis of attorney response times. Our objective was to gauge the outcomes of conversations and identify opportunities for improvement in the online resource. We used natural language processing techniques to analyze a large dataset of conversations with the goal of understanding their success rates. To do this, we leveraged the natural language toolkit NLTK library in Python, which provides powerful tools and algorithms for working with text data. Specifically, we used NLTK's built-in sentiment intensity analyzer to assign numerical scores to each question in the conversation based on their positive or negative sentiment. This allowed us to quickly and easily analyze the overall sentiment of the conversations and gain insights into the factors that influence their success rates. By breaking down the variables into the conversation category, user ethnic identities, and the client-to-attorney ratio, we were able to analyze the average sentiment by state and gain deeper insights into the patterns and trends in the data. The second part of our analysis focused on the attorney's reaction time from when the client asked a question to when the attorney responded. Our aim was to corroborate our sentiment analysis by examining how the speed of the attorneys in the American Bar Association, ABA, affected the positive sentiment in the conversations.
Sentiment analysis drove our overall investigation. First, we analyzed the average sentiment in each of the 10 broad categories. We found that family and children and income maintenance had the highest average sentiment, while individual rights had the lowest. Additionally, we were curious as to how the client's ethnic identity influenced the sentiment and flow of the conversation. Our violin plot reveals that the highest density of neutral average sentiment for African American clients, but overall, the average sentiment for all ethnic identities tends to be positive or neutral, with similar means and variances. Finally, we looked at the normalized average sentiment compared to the clients per attorney and found a negative correlation between these values. It appears that if the individual attorney has more clients, they will on average have a worse off average sentiment. We sought to investigate the concentration of attorneys to clients as our next slide graphs the number of attorneys per client in each state, with the exception of Idaho. With low attorney per client ratios, more recruitment should be implemented to prevent a low sentiment score for each attorney, as more attorneys could have more interpersonal connections with their clients.
We were able to create 3 word clouds. The first red word cloud analyzes the most frequently used words in the bottom 5th percentile of NLTK sentiment scores. The third green word cloud analyzes the most frequently used words in the top 5th percentile of NLTK sentiment scores. And the middle gray word cloud gives an overall analysis of the most frequently used words. The first word cloud displays words such as told, work, go, and time. Based on an analysis of the sentences containing these words, they appear to be most closely associated with clients explaining their difficulties and issues. Notably, the word time is particularly relevant, as it often refers to the extended waiting periods that clients must endure under the current pro bono implementation. The third green word cloud demonstrates that the use of words such as free, best interest, and answer lead to sentences with notably high sentiment scores, as these words suggest that the lawyer is committed to providing their clients with the best possible service at a minimal cost. Ultimately, this analysis suggests that by highlighting the availability of free services and providing thorough answers to clients' questions, the remainder of the conversation is likely to be more positive and productive.
With time being a prevalent issue as seen in the word cloud, we decided to do analysis to see which states take the longest to respond initially, as this is a crucial part of the conversation. We also noticed that there is not necessarily a correlation between number of attorneys per client and response time. Therefore, we propose a training or introduction program for attorneys to stress the value and importance of responding quickly to clients. Using this graph, the ABA can determine which states have the longest initial reaction times and need this program the most, so they can direct their limited resources to specific states.
While analyzing the data, we look to find geographical and temporal trends to get a more intuitive understanding of the areas that face a disproportionately larger amount of interactions and thus would require more resources from the ABA. It is important to note that the figures presented in this slide represent per capita data compiled from the United States 2020 census. Here we can see representations of clients per state per capita, as well as representations of question categories cross-referenced with state popularity. Furthermore, we can also see that most questions are asked during the work week, and the most common question category is family and children. One way the ABA can work to increase efficiency and satisfaction is through reaching out and prioritizing interaction between family law practices, as well as keeping a larger number of matrimonial lawyers on hand, as they have the highest probability of being utilized. When developing outreach strategies to potential user populations and volunteers, it is also important to keep in mind the client demographic. As a result, we summarize the information for the ABA's use. For example, there is a significantly greater number of female clients, so the ABA should devise more recruitment strategies which are targeted towards female lawyers in order to promote better relationships, communication, and understanding between clients and attorneys. Here is a summarizing list presenting our findings and recommendations for how the ABA can improve the quality of their pro bono service. Thank you for listening to our presentation.